Hi everyone, it's Heather. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about all of this series that I own but have not read yet. And there are quite a lot. So these are in no particular order, these are just in the order that I picked them up, but during quarantine, I picked up a bunch of series. Normally, I go to my library. I'm a big believer in libraries and thrifting and audiobooks, all for sustainable reasons. But because of quarantine and I wasn't able to acquire books in those ways, I did go on a book buying binge, and that resulted in owning a lot of series that I have not yet gotten to. So I'm hoping that this will inspire me to start picking these up. If you guys have suggestions for which ones I should pick up first, let me know. So to start with, the one that I've had the longest, this has been on my shelf. This series has been on my shelf for like 10 years. And that is the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, the Unbeliever by Stephen R. Donaldson. This was recommended to me by the man who did all of my tattoos. And we talked a lot about books and when I was getting tattooed, and he said that this was one of his favorite series of all time. And so I asked for it that Christmas, and I got all of the books. I only have the first one here because the other ones are kind of ugly and I'm lazy. And I just have never picked it up, ever. A quick synopsis on the back, because I don't know how many people have heard of this series, says he called himself Thomas Covenant the Unbeliever because he dared not believe in the strange alternate world on which he suddenly found himself. Yet the land tempted him. He had been sick. Now he seemed better than ever before. Through no fault of his own, he had been outcast, unclean, a pariah. Now he was regarded as a reincarnation of the land's greatest hero, Barak Halfhand, armed with the mystic power of white gold. That power alone could protect the lords of the land from the ancient evil of the despiser, Lord Foul, except that Covenant had no idea how to use that power. And it says, thus begins one of the most remarkable epic fantasies ever written. I don't know how I feel about that. The second series that I own and have not read is The Kingkiller Chronicle by Patrick Rothfuss. This is not a complete series. I believe there's at least one more coming out. This is a very popular fantasy series. This is a story of a hero told in his own voice, a tale of sorrow, a tale of survival, a tale of one man's search for meaning in his universe, and how that search and the indomitable will that drove it gave birth to a legend. I've heard amazing things about this series. I'm supposed to read these by the end of 2020, just for my own personal, no one is making me do that. I just want to, but I haven't picked them up yet. So I'm hoping that I can have time in between now and the end of 2020 to pick these up. So the next series is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. You can tell that I went on like a fantasy kick during quarantine. Mistborn is a trilogy that is about a world that has been a wasteland of ash and mist controlled by an immortal emperor. Hope survives, a new uprising is forming, one built around the ultimate caper, the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind, and the determination of an unlikely heroine, a street urchin who must learn to master the power of a Mistborn. And I believe Mistborn has to do with like something to do with the magic system in this world. I really love the unlikely heroine street urchin vibe of, like, it reminds me of The Lives of Locke Lamora. And I have put this on a few TBRs, but then changed it to the next series that I'm going to talk about a few times, and then also haven't finished that series. So the next series that I own and I have not read is The Stormlight Archives by also Brandon Sanderson. There is a fourth book of this series coming out, I believe, in the next few months, maybe November. Clearly, I am not very well versed in my series. I don't know how to explain this, but we follow a bunch of different, not a bunch, we follow 4 different people who apparently are unconnected, but their stories are woven together at some point. And I have heard amazing things about this series. That's why I kept switching out Mistborn for the Stormlight or Archives, because people have said this is Brandon Sanderson's best, and I want to read the best. I would love to finish this series since I'm already in it before I get into the others. I don't know if that will happen or not. These books are freaking huge, so it's quite a commitment. But hopefully I'll have these read by the end of 2020 as well. The next series, I don't have it all right next to me because it's huge, but it's a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket. I have read the first 3 or 4 books in the series a few times, and I've never read past that. And I have recently, during quarantine, bought the whole series after watching Emma from Drinking by My Shelf. She did a 24-hour readathon where she read all 13 books in 24 hours, and I was like, I want to do that too. Haven't done that. Probably won't do that. Lemony Snicket is about these 3 unfortunate children, and fun fact, my mom actually went to college at the same place as the quote-unquote real Lemony Snicket. The next series that I own and have not started is the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. I got this in a box set. I have heard such good things about this series, specifically from Murphy Napier, and I think the reason I haven't started this is because I have really high expectations for it, and I am very excited to read it. I think I'm going to absolutely love it. Apparently it's more about, I don't know what the plot necessarily is, but I do know that there's a lot of morally gray characters, and it's more about the characterization of these people than the plot itself. It says, unpredictable, compelling, wickedly funny, and packed with unforgettable characters. The Blade itself is noir fantasy with a real cutting edge. That's like what I want in a book. I cannot wait to read these. And again, I think it's just how excited I am to read them that has made me not pick them up, which is such a weird human condition that I think we all understand. Okay, the last series that I'm going to be talking about is the one that I have owned the second longest and is also intimidating. Oh God, is The Walking Dead. Man, this is heavy. By Robert Kirkman, Charlie Adler, Tony Moore, and Cliff Rathburn. This is obviously the graphic novel that prompted the show, The Walking Dead. And I asked for these. I went through a very heavy graphic novel phase a few years ago, and I asked for these and got them for Christmas, and then never read them. You can see the theme here. I don't know why I haven't picked these up. My boyfriend actually read the first one and really enjoyed it. I think just, it's with everything that goes on your TBR, right? Like, you're super excited and then you get excited for something else and you forget this. Maybe now that it is getting colder outside, it might be good to start getting into this, because I would like to read it. They take up a lot of space. They're huge chunker books, and I've heard only good things. Hopefully I can at least read one of these by the end of 2020. So those are all of the series that I own but haven't read. I'm not going to pick them up because it would be very, very heavy. Let me know if there's any series that I should prioritize among these 7. If you've read any, what your personal favorites are. And thank you guys all for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye!